What's up, curl friends? Back again with another video. So in this video, I will give you guys some tips about going natural and transitioning. Now, I know some people, when they go natural, they really don't know too much about what it takes to be natural. So I'm going to give you guys some tips of things that I have learned over the years. So without further ado, let's get into the video. The first tip I would give somebody who is transitioning or thinking about becoming natural is it takes time. Like, you have to have patience when you are transitioning. If you go back to my natural hair journey, if you have not watched that video, you need to watch it. I will link it up. But it took me 2.5 years to transition before I just finally decided to cut off my perm ends and become 100% natural. Now, I know that during my transition phase, I did straighten my hair a lot, which I will talk about that later. And even back then in my journey, I didn't know too much about, wearing protective styles while transitioning, but it did take me 2.5 years to completely transition before I decided to finally cut the last little bit of my perm ends off. So if you want to transition into being natural, it will take time. This is not an overnight process. So you have to have patience. For those who decide to big chop, you might have results a little faster, but I wouldn't really know what advice to give you with big chopping because I didn't big chop. But I will say you still do have to have patience, because if you big chop, now you have to wait for your hair to grow back. So my number one tip would be to have patience. Okay, following up my tip with having patience, the next one would be to learn your hair. Now, I know a lot of people now decide to put their hair into protective styles while they're transitioning, and even though that's fine, I believe that in between protective styles, you should take like maybe a week or two in between just to learn your hair, because obviously your permed hair and your natural hair are two different textures. So now you're about to get this new texture and you need to learn your new texture. If you do not take the time out to learn your new texture, you will be one of those naturals who do not know what to do with their hair because you have not learned this new texture that you have. So that is one of my tips. Learn your hair. Like I said, even if you do decide to do sew-ins, braids, whatever, while you're transitioning, after or in between each style, take like a week or two to learn your hair. Try different hairstyles. Try braid out, twist out, even try a wash and go if you're really feeling lucky, just so you can learn your hair and learn what your hair likes and doesn't like. Okay, the next tip I'm going to give is you have to understand that just because a product works for one person does not mean that product will work for you. You have to remember that every natural is different. We all have different hair textures, hair porosities, strand densities, everything. Like, it is a lot going into being a natural when it comes down to understanding your hair. So just because a product works for me does not mean that same product will work for you. And likewise, I have people who come up to me all the time and ask me, oh, what do you use for your hair? And when I tell them, they say, oh, those products didn't work for me. Exactly. Because we have two different hair types. And like I said, everything that works for me will not work for you, and vice versa. Now, there may be some products that different hair, different people, can live by, but it won't always be the same. Like, you have to understand that just because it works for me does not mean it's going to work for you. My hair is different from your hair. My scalp is different from your scalp. So it all depends. That's what I said with my last tip. You have to learn your hair because everything does not work for everybody. And with that tip, I will also say, when I first went natural, I literally became a product junkie because I took the time out trying different products to see what worked for me and what didn't work for me, what I liked, what I didn't like. So yes, in the beginning, you will probably go through a lot of products. And if you have been in Walmart, Sally's, your local beauty supply store, you know natural hair products are not cheap. So, I mean, if you really want to figure out what works for you, you got to get ready to spend some money. Now, I do know that a lot of products have been coming out with like travel size things. So if you really just want to try a product, I would suggest getting a travel size one. So just in case it doesn't work for you, you don't have this big 16-ounce jar of something that's just sitting in your house collecting dust because it did not work for your hair. So I will say, in the beginning, even now, I've been natural for 9 years and I'm still a bit of a product junkie. There are a bunch of products that I want to try that I just haven't yet because it's just not in the budget. I'm gonna just be honest, but yeah, going natural in the beginning can be very expensive because you are literally trying to find the right product when you are learning your hair and trying to figure out what works for you. Okay, and I would say my last tip is remember to still take care of your hair. It is still important to get trims. It's still important to, get haircuts, get trims. It is still important to deep condition and do protein treatments. Just because you are transitioning does not mean, or even just because you're natural, it does not mean that you have to stop taking care of your hair. I honestly feel like natural hair requires more work than perm hair. So remember, like I encourage deep condition maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. I recommend like doing a protein treatment like maybe once a month. If you guys have been watching my videos, you just saw that I did the apple cider vinegar rinse on my scalp as like a clarifier. If you use a lot of product, like sometimes I can get a little, heavy handed. Use that apple cider vinegar to clarify your scalp. Use that protein treatment to build back up your hair strength. Use that deep conditioner to get that extra moisture back into your hair. And I will say, especially during the winter time, it is important to maintain that moisture in your hair and make sure your hair stays hydrated so you do not have to worry about your hair breaking and everything. Just like trims are very important because split ends. If you do not take care of your split ends, they will go up your hair shaft. And before you know, you're going to be getting a haircut. So it is still very, very important to maintain your hair while you're going natural. And also for my transitioners, it is the most important time to take care of your hair because that little part of your hair where your natural hair and your perm hair meets is the weakest part of your hair at that moment. So it is very important to take care of your hair when you are detangling. Don't just be running a comb through it. Take your time because like I said, in the transition phase, that is the weakest part of your hair. That little line right where your natural hair and your perm hair meet. Please, please, please take care of your hair. Like, it doesn't matter if you've been natural for 100 years or if you just starting. You have to take care of your hair. Now on this one, I feel like I might be preaching to the choir or standing on a soapbox because I don't always deep condition my hair. Every now and again, if I remember, I'll do a protein treatment. Like I said, I just clarify my scalp with the apple cider vinegar rinse. And I also use Jamaican black castor oil. Like I said, if you have been watching my videos, you will see I did a whole video talking about the benefits of Jamaican black castor oil. So to reiterate the things that I said, the number one tip for transitioning or going natural is remember, it takes time. You have to have patience. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. Like, you're not going to go to sleep and then wake up with a head full of thick curly hair. Number two is to learn your hair. Remember, this is a new texture that you are introducing yourself to. Your permed hair and your natural hair are two totally different textures. You have to learn your hair. The third tip, remember, what works for someone may not work for you, which piggybacks off of learn your hair. Learn what products work for your hair, which products don't work for your hair, and get a regimen that you can stick to. And then the last tip was to maintain your hair. Continue to trim. If you get trims every 6 months, continue to trim every 6 months. Remember, deep condition weekly or bi-weekly. Do a protein treatment once a month. If you want to do an apple cider vinegar rinse to clarify your hair and scalp, try to do that once a month. Just keep up maintaining your hair, especially during the colder winter months, because your hair needs the extra care. So I hope you guys learned some valuable tips watching my video. If you have any other tips that I did not mention in this video, leave them down in the comments below. And remember, if you want to see more videos like this from me, remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next one.